Okay, hi everybody. Thank you so much to Brianda for having me. Shout out to social media for connecting us. Thank you, social media. I think told some folks this already, but I'm a music therapist by training. I'm mostly in academia right now, and my dissertation is actually literally about these kinds of spaces. My dissertation is called The Right to Gather, Experiences of BIPOC Music Therapists in Supplemental Support Spaces. So it is literally about how BIPOC clinicians and students gather in spaces outside of conventional contexts, like school or their workplace, in order to supplement their learning. So thank you for offering us a really wonderful presentation to get things going, supplement our important learning, and also find support for ourselves based on our lived experiences and our identities. So thank you for having me. There's like meta experience going on here. Again, I'm a music therapist by training, and today I'm not going to talk so much about clinical music therapy practice, but about how I believe, and there's another music therapist in the space, Nina, sorry, shout out, how I think many of us believe who are music therapists, that everyone is entitled to music, right? That music is our birthright. And we have been socialized to think that music is only available to a select few, people who are good enough to perform in certain contexts, but that actually goes against our very nature. There's a concept called communicative musicality that suggests that our earliest interactions with our caregivers are based in music. So we might now refer to it as mother-ese or infant-ese, the desire to go, hi baby, hello, hello. We're singing. We naturally want to use music to soothe, calm, and connect with infants in their early life, right? Music is our birthright. It is available to us. So really what I want to happen today is that you feel empowered to utilize music to support your own well-being in the very important work that you do as clinicians. Okay, I can do it. Oh no. I hear it beeping at me. Okay. There we go. Okay, a little neuro. So the way I got into music therapy was when I was a junior in high school. My dad recorded a documentary for me called The Music Instinct on PBS. And it was featuring Yo-Yo Ma and Bobby McFerrin. And they were going around talking to all these music therapists about what they do and why it works. And there was this one segment about music therapists who were working in stroke rehabilitation with people who had lost their ability to speak or produce language and yet could sing. And they talked about how music is not localized in our brains like most other things, right? We have a speech center, we have certain motor centers, but music is all over our brain. And the way it's mapped in people's brains can be different. So you could have a music center that's close to a memory center or close to a olfactory center. So if somebody has damage to their brain, that their speech center is impacted, their singing center could be totally intact. And so through music therapy, through this gorgeous process called neuroplasticity that many of you probably already know about, the brain can learn how to regain the skill it lost through its music center. So one of the most famous examples of this is Senator Gabby Giffords, who had traumatic brain injury and learned how to speak again through singing. When I learned this, I was like, holy shit, that is wild. That is basically magical. And that hooked me immediately. So I want to hear from all of you because as a provider, as a music therapist, whenever I work with people, I often say explicitly that just because I'm a music therapist doesn't mean I'm the only one in this space who knows about music and well-being, right? People have been using music for well-being for thousands of years. Music therapy didn't emerge in the 50s and suddenly create this concept, right? And it feels important to me to honor the fact that people are already utilizing music. And then my job is maybe to be more of a facilitator of experiences and honor how music already exists and see how it could be a part of our therapeutic process together. So I would love to know, how does music already exist in your lives now? Maybe I could hear from like 2 people about how music works for you, how you use it. I can give you some prompts if you'd like. When I offer this question, I say, do you listen to music on the subway? Listen to music on the subway. Oh no, I see a head shake. Why don't you listen to music on the subway?
I like being aware of my surroundings.
Okay. Very valid. You want to know what's going on. So when do you listen to music? If you listen to music at all? Okay, so still driving, listening to music on the subway. To me, my clinical brain says music for transition. Music supporting you from one place to another. That is not so dissimilar from singing a song to help a child clean up, everybody, everywhere, right? Music to support moving from one state to another. Okay, we got music for commute. Okay, if you are feeling really sad, do you want to hear a sad song and just like swim in the sadness? Or if you're feeling sad, do you want to hear a happy song and move to the happy state? Who's sad and swimming in sadness? Okay. Who's sad to happy? Okay. Who's a mix? Everyone. Perfect. Yes. Okay. Great. Any other like thoughts about how music exists for you, how you use it in your everyday life? To focus. Wonderful. At the gym, yes. Music to coordinate movement. Getting up in the morning. Another transition.
Connect to culture.
Connect to culture. We're gonna get into that. Beautiful, beautiful. Any others?
I guess like connecting to my body too. Dance is a big part of my life, and the music helps me not just like do the movement, but like really feel it.
Beautiful. Music and dance. Yes.
Community.
Music for community. Beautiful. So you see what? Oh yeah, another one. To remember or to reach back to a memory. Beautiful. Yeah, so you pretty much proved my point that people already know a lot about music for well-being. And if we are interested in creating a more equitable relationship between ourselves and our recipients of care, that feels really important that I communicate in some way. I want to know what you know, and I believe that that information is really valuable to our work together. Okay. One of the ways that I was seduced into music therapy was like, music is the universal language, super cool, one human language. That's not true at all. It's not true. It's like scientifically disproven because we do not all speak the same musical language, right? What's universal about music is that we all use it. We do know definitively it has existed across cultures and across times, but the manifestations of that music are culturally dependent. Right? All people in all times have engaged in musical behavior. So we know this through a concept called cultural invariance. And these are particular aspects of human behavior that are universal, but whose actual realizations vary widely from group to group. This occurs because of the biological and psychological unity of humankind. And I'm sure so many of us are aware of this if we're aligned with culturally affirming or culturally informed care. But expressions of so many needs are culturally determined, right? So things like language, shelter, food, clothing. At least 4 of these variants relate to music in some way. One of them came up already, dance, religion, celebrations and rites, altered states of consciousness, and of course, dance, right? So many musicologists have talked about this, right? People are using music cross-culture, and there's many different uses that we have codified. I want to bring your attention to a few of them that feel particularly resonant in this space, but one of these cross-cultural functions are lullabies, right? Like I mentioned before. We all want to sing to babies. We are predisposed to use music to soothe and calm and connect and bond with infants. Dancing is on here, storytelling, celebrations, communication, healing, trance, personal enjoyment. And communicating important information about how we are in community with one another. So to me, this is like building the evidence for why music. Why music for well-being? We already use it. Our ancestors have already been using it. Okay, so to get more specific about music and culture, to dial in even more deeply, how does music relate to your cultural identity? How does music exist within your lineage, your family, and your community? Any thoughts about that link? Does music relate to anyone's cultural identity in this space? Yeah? Thoughts? Anyone want to share? I see some head nods.
I'm Filipino, so the stereotype of like music and dance is a big part, but I really use it because it's a way of communicating and with each other in relationally, not just
Beautiful. Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, other ways that exist culturally for y'all.
I think to discover my culture, when culture has been erased or hidden too, is another way to explore and discover.
Great. To like connect with your cultural identity or reach back and learn more about it. Beautiful. I had a similar experience when I read Blues People, which was my like book recommendation, and I understood that actually when emancipation happened, the way that Black people made music changed. So originally, music resided in these fugitive spaces. We were talking about them. Like it was illegal to engage in any musical activity. Music was related to worship, so people would gather in secret without instruments, mostly voice, body, or the recreation of percussion. Then emancipation, people spread out. But there was still a desire to make music with someone or something else, which is why early blues is voice and guitar acting as that other voice. And when I learned that, I was like, that's how I feel about it. That's how I play guitar. That I'm in conversation with this instrument, and the guitar and the banjo and so many of those instruments are very Black instruments, right, historically, and yet we connect them to country or rock, but actually so many of their origins are actually from Africa. There's many artists now who are reclaiming this is part of our musical lineage, so heard, definitely. Yeah. Treasure, were you thinking about something?
Yeah, I was going to say that. I was going to say communication and call and response.
Period. Exactly. Beautiful. Yeah, some resonance there. Yeah. Communication, call and response. Yeah.
To ignite a sense of pride within the culture.
Sense of pride, definitely. Yeah. Beautiful, everybody. Yeah.
I feel like it kind of opened me up to feeling emotions differently, and I feel like there was a connection to how somebody in my culture can feel happiness in a way that's not given the same space in certain communities.
Yes. Ooh, powerful. Really beautiful. Yeah.
Say for me, like keeping history alive.
Yes.
Cultural history alive. So like when you're talking about the blues, like I did a deep dive with like Black music history from the inception of Black History Month, and just like being able to go back and listen to some of these pioneers of music, and be able to hear their voices and to like think about like the process that they had to go through to keep their music alive and like be able to share that out. It's a whole nother thing. So.
Yeah. Sometimes the fact that we can even listen to that music and learn about it is like radical in itself, right? A big part of, I think, some pushes in music therapy that I think Nanette would align with is like actually teaching students about the instruments that are in our closet and, in our music therapy room. So I know I learned how to tune a guitar. I learned how to take care of a piano. I never learned how to take care of a djembe. I never learned how to take care of a conga. And yet, those are so often in these music therapy spaces, and they carry legacies that are super appropriate for therapy. So the fact that we still have a djembe, or the fact that we still are able to find these early recordings of Leadbelly or Robert Johnson is important in and of itself. That this music survived, and it was meant to survive. It was meant to carry these stories or these lessons, these messages. Yeah, totally. Wow, y'all. Beautiful, beautiful reflections. I'm basically just gonna keep plus oneing what we're already all thinking. But I think another reason, right, is the fact that we already use music for protest. Again, exists across history, across culture, music to speak out against injustice. So viewing music as this medium for protest because of the way that it evokes emotion, right, that it has maybe this immediacy to our emotional world, this vehicle for storytelling, sharing stories across time. One of my favorite references for this idea is from The Souls of Black Folk, W.E.B. Du Bois' seminal text. He is the father of sociology. We all benefit from him and his work, and music was a huge part of how he understood Black life. He saw music as inextricable from Black life. This amazing chapter, it's chapter 5, Sorrow Songs. I read it a lot of times and I cite it so much because to me it justifies my work completely, right? He talks about sorrow songs that we might now call African American spirituals or Negro spirituals, and he talks about how these songs are of me and mine, these weird haunting melodies that transmute time that sound like songs of lament, their cries against injustice, and yet an important part of this is that they long to be heard. They are meant to be heard by those outside of the experience, and the hope within that sharing is that hearts will be stirred. I mean, that alone, right? I have chills every time I say it, but to me, that's the heart of protest music. That is the why. That is why we turn to music as this vehicle for protest. And so this could be something that I will read aloud and invite you to think about, because I want to get into a little bit of music for our last 5 minutes together, but thinking about how that could also be useful for us, for our ability to speak out against injustice that we experience, or the people that we serve experience, to support our voices and our self-advocacy, believing that this, once again, is a part of our music lineage, our cultural lineage. It is available to us to utilize music in this way. Okay. I'm hoping we're not going to be competing too much for sound out there, but I do want to invite you into a moment of mindfulness. So I'm going to invite you to become aware of your body in space, the way that the chair is supporting you, the way you're naturally breathing right now, the natural rise and fall of your own breath. Not making any changes, just becoming aware of where you're at now. But if it does feel good, you can close your eyes or put a hand on your stomach. And then move your awareness up to your heart center, your other internal rhythm keeper, the beating of your own heart. One of your rhythms that connects you to the rhythms of all other living things. What is your heart asking for? You're very welcome to stay in this place and just listen and receive this music and let it do what it needs to do. But you'll hear there are some places in this song to engage in a response to my call. You're very welcome to sing, you're welcome to hum, or just listen. But you'll hear me sing, oh yeah, yeah. You could answer, oh yeah, yeah. 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 So, woyaya means we are going. This song provides me a lot of solace. It is a protest song in its own right, but it is also about the fact that we have not yet seen our just world that we dream about. So our movement towards that more just world will take our creativity, our trust, our imagination. We are going, heaven knows where we're going, but we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh yeah, yeah. 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 We are going. Heaven knows where we are going, but we know we've been. Thank you, everybody. Where I put the clicker. I was going to just share my contact. There we go. If you want to stay in touch, this is where I'm at. Thanks, everybody.